I felt compelled to say to those who say that boycotts don't help anything, those who mock peaceful activism, I have this message from my heart that I want to share with you. And I'm addressing America here, but let's be clear. The oligarchy's tentacles have far and wide reach, way beyond our borders. Germany is sliding back towards fascism too, it appears. This isn't just an American problem. I think it's the last angry whooping of a patriarchal system that has been at war with matriarchal values for centuries. Capitalism is our playing field, so we have to use it. We live in a hardcore capitalist society. I know because I've lived where socialism and capitalism cooperate nicely, the Netherlands. But in America, we are the quintessential capitalists. Look at our top 5 employers in America. Number 1 on the list, the U.S. Department of Defense. By the way, you should all get a notepad and take notes. Number 1, U.S. Department of Defense with 2.93 million employees. Walmart with 2.1, Amazon with 1.54, Allied Universal with 800,000, and Accenture with 742,000. Those are the biggest employers in America, with the War Department being number 1. We profit from war. We profit from the cleanup of war. It's disgraceful. We could be growing hemp, and we could be on a hardcore mission to put all our resources into replacing plastics and doing something that would really be good for the planet. But we're not, because profit margins in destruction is good. There's a lot of theft, there's a lot of people dying, and then there's a lot of vultures swooping on that and turning it into an opportunity. Boycotts work, and I'll tell you why. Since we are trapped in a capitalist system, the only way to fight it is with capitalist tools, and our collective purchasing power is one of only 2 weapons we have in our toolbox. The other one being our joining protests, which I'll talk about another time. I'm here to debunk the myth that boycotts don't work. I've seen boycotts work firsthand. In the Netherlands, when transit workers fought a labor dispute, the public was asked to stop riding trains or trams on Mondays. The strike was resolved within weeks. When the government proposed a fuel tax increase, citizens agreed to not buy fuel on a specific date. The tax increase was scrapped. In America, when dock workers were cheated out of their overtime pay for 7 years, activists blocked a Blood Diamond ship from docking in California, and the ship was turned away again in Oregon. But the dock worker strike was settled within 1 week. We blocked 1 ship. We were threatening to come back every week and block a ship every week. That's very expensive for them. It's cheaper for them to pay the people what they owe them. And it works. Activism works. Disrupting the commerce makes a statement that cannot be ignored. 3 reasons that boycotts are effective. First of all, the people that were boycotting, like those top 5 that I just listed, they have complete contempt for us. And they don't care about us. They don't care about what we think. And they don't really bother themselves with our activism. They're not paying attention to us because, whatever, they're going to make their money. That's contempt. They don't fear boycotts. They laugh at us. They think we're too disorganized to hurt them. It's gaslighting, but it also means that they don't really see it coming. Their contempt blinds them. So let's make sure that our contempt scopes are aimed where they belong, at those who want to return us to a feudal society of beggars and street urchins. Number 2, business owners panic when the money stops flowing. The moment a boycott takes effect, executives have to scramble. They don't want to look at the real reason why. So when gas stations suddenly see no sales, and when grocery stores are half empty, when no one logs into social media, they notice and they go looking for what's wrong. Are our payment systems working? Are our gateways working? Is this working? Is that working? Is something blocked? Is something overloaded? This isn't right. This isn't right. All red alerts. All hands on deck. we cause them pain. There is pain caused. I know, because as a business owner, if we have a 0 sales day, it makes us go, what? Out of stock? What's going on? Why is this happening? Okay, that was number 2, that business owners panic when the money stops flowing. And number 3 is that the employees still get paid. The argument that boycotts hurt the workers is kind of bullshit, because workers still get paid. That's the point. They're paying for grocery store clerks with no groceries being sold. They're paying for gas station attendants with no gas being pumped. That's the point of this. And large corporations survive this, of course, but they get the message. And yes, some people have to sacrifice. Some people who get paid on performance or paid on work, they have to make sacrifices, or they don't have to join. Like, this isn't required. We're asking everyone who can to participate in this February 28th commercial and social media boycott. We don't need 100% participation. If even half of the 48% of America who rejected fascism, if half those people take part in a nationwide boycott, we can rock the commercial world. And guess what? I think for all of us, it would be good to be off social media for a day. And, it'll be effective, and perhaps we'll do it again. And maybe we're really good at it, and we won't have to do it so much before our voice is heard. The warning signs were always here about where we are today. About 25 years ago, on a flight from London to Amsterdam, I sat next to a man who was reading a book that was on the decline and fall of America. And that may have even been the name of it. And we got into a conversation, and he was telling me about what was in the book. And when I got back to the Netherlands, I ordered that book. That was I'm trying to think what year that was, 25 years, about the year 2000. So then fast forward to 2008 and the big banking crisis in America, and I go to order a book about, a girlfriend of mine in Canada tells me about sort of the definitive book on how the banking crisis went down. And I went to order that book, and I couldn't get it in America. And then I went and did research on the other book and found out you couldn't get that in America either. I had to order the book on the banking crisis to my friend in Canada and have her send it to me. And I mean, in the year of our Lord, 2000 and later, we are, up until now, we are banning books. Who's doing that, though? Is the government banning it, or is that Amazon playing God? And it's the same thing with their social media. We know they're playing God. We know they're controlling the content. So that was my third point, that the employees still get paid. When people say boycotts hurt the workers, I don't buy it. And the large corporations and the small corporations, with small corporations like us, our customers aren't going to go away. They're going to buy from us the day before, the day after. It's very simple. They're still going to get their product. They're just this one day stepping back and not participating in a machine that is making a lot of people, very, very few people wealthy, and a lot of people financial pain. The book that I had read pretty much was simple. The formula for sort of a takeover of a country, any country, is first you starve education. You make sure that no high school graduate and most of your university graduates don't understand a thing about economics or politics, number one, because that makes them easy to influence. Anybody who's ever been through jury selection and rejected over and over, as I have, knows that they don't want anybody who thinks for themselves or is in a position of management or leadership or started their own business. They don't want anybody who thinks for themselves, basically, or takes any risk, or challenges any authority. So it's the same thing with taking over a government. The people are easy to control if they're stupid, obviously. And so that was number one. This book predicted the dumbing down of America. And then the second was that buy up the media and control the airwaves, manipulate the narrative, and dictate to people what they should believe. And this is why people voted against their own interests. This is why the majority of Hispanic women voted for this racist pig. And these are Christian women. They believed the messaging they were fed that was false messaging. And the majority of Mexican men voted for Trump, that pig. But not because they're bad people, but they drank the Kool-Aid. They listened to the messaging and they didn't know any better. And the majority of white men and white women who should know better, who've had the benefit of better education. And that, I think, is pure racism, in my opinion. And I think there's a layer of this that's all misogyny. The best woman can't beat the worst man, because we still can't have a woman lead, because there's so much in the public, ingrained in the public consciousness against women. It's just easier to believe the man than the woman. And even if he's disgusting, and the same people have told me he's disgusting, but I voted for him, like, wow, that's misogyny. To me, that's misogyny. But we can't, I can't go around being angry at America anymore. I was for a while. Because Americans are battered and they're beleaguered, and most small businesses never recovered from the pandemic. Natural disasters have wiped out communities. Each generation has it economically worse and worse in regard to what they have access to with nature. And so we need to disrupt the system, and we need to hit them where it hurts economically, because we're in a capitalist system. So we have to have a capitalist hammer in our toolbox, and that's it. Be encouraged by the outrage, though. Be encouraged by the outrage from the GOP. Be encouraged that Steve Bannon, one of the makers of MAGA, came out violently against Elon Musk and Trump. And Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to not vote for confirming RFK Jr. So, and their own people are protesting because if you think they lay off 1,000 federal workers, statistically speaking, 60% of them voted for this. 60% of them voted for this. So I know it's hard to be sympathetic, but they were duped. They were, they were subject to the not understanding government and a few people buying the airwaves and influencing all of public opinion. Anyway, America's waking up. If we get this right, we can stop the train wreck. If we act together, we can win. I think it's our moment. I think it's going to, one thing that is happening is that if everybody rises up against this bullshit, if everybody rises up, then we may dissolve this dividing line between the right and the left. And I have hope for that. There's one more thing I wanted to add. The Trump administration is taking a sledgehammer to all of our agencies, that are beloved agencies. But we didn't treat them like beloved agencies. As a public, every time we had to go to the DMV, it was like having to go get a root canal, right? Every time we had to go pay a traffic ticket or even get a marriage license or anything like that, we acted like with contempt, like, ew, bureaucrats, ew, we have to deal with them, ew, they're so slow. There's even a movie, I think, that has slugs acting as the DMV people. So, and the poor DMV, like, I'm 65, so I've seen a lot of change. Our DMV is excellently efficient now with their combination of putting a lot of things onto the internet, with making appointments. I don't go wait lines like I used to 10 years ago. Most of these government agencies have moved along and embraced digital technology and digital signatures, and have reduced paperwork, and they've just gotten more efficient and more responsive until now, of course, as phones go unanswered. I myself was looking for a government statement on Wednesday last week, and I called into the Social Security Administration for that statement, and I waited on hold for 90 minutes before I hung up, and I said, I'm going to have to find this information another way. But I think what's going to happen here is that collectively as a people, we were not appreciative of the government systems we had. We were not appreciative of the warriors that were out there working for the people in all those agencies every day. And perhaps, we asked for the sledgehammer to our government. Perhaps we accidentally asked for it. I mean, we wouldn't ask for it on purpose, but the point is, it's here now. And those are our beloved agencies. And those are our beloved postal workers and park rangers and beloved, God help me for saying this, law enforcement. I mean, the fact is that we've got public servants that we can call when the shit hits the fan, and we must continue to have them and support them. So it's going to be interesting times. Don't be discouraged, but do help out by organizing your life so you don't spend anything on February 28th. It's Friday coming up, and it's a no-spend day, and we may end up with one of these once a month. There's targeted weekly campaigns like don't buy at Amazon this week, don't buy at Walmart this week that are coming up. But this is just one day where we're asking everybody get your groceries, get your fuel, get your house set up. If you do online payments, get it so they don't happen. And stay off of social media for the day, because that in itself is a big statement. If we could get a lot of people just to go silent on social media for a day, that will show in their numbers. Anyway, bless you. Had to get it all off my chest. Had to explain why this is so important. Much love.